Yes.
Okay. So this is Lydia Grant, the president of the Sutherland Tank Neighborhood Council. The executive committee meeting is starting now. It is Wednesday, April 27th, 2022, and the time is now 7 p.m.
7:13, 14.
7:14 p.m. I was reading off the agenda.
Yeah.
Hold on. It'll take me a second to get the agenda up on my phone. So hold on one quick second. So Carol, do you want to call, or Karen, can you call out the first item while I get it pulled up?
Sure. Okay. We'll ask for general public comments on non-agenda items, and you'll be given 1 minute per speaker unless otherwise announced by the presiding officer. And that will be me until Lydia comes back. The Brown Act prevents the board from commenting on your comments. If you wish to speak, either raise your hand on a computer or tablet or dial *9 on your cell phone. And I think I did see,
There are two hands raised. The first one I know was up was Rudy Melendez.
okay,
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
go ahead.
Thank you.
Ruth.
Thank you, Carol, Karen, and Lydia. Nice to see you all. Good evening. I just wanted to quickly say hello, take a minute to introduce myself as your labor artist and candidate for California Congressional District 29. I'm happy to announce we made the ballot for the statewide direct primary. And I was hoping that this executive committee might be interested in perhaps pursuing or advocating for a candidate forum either before June 7th or perhaps in advance of the November election. And just wanted to thank you for the work that you all do improving the community. I understand how hard it is to be on a neighborhood council. I've served on two bodies, and I wanted to say thank you and appreciate your support. I hope to earn your support, and I look forward to attending your next general board meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay. Karen, can you read the next item?
No, we have another comment. Phone number ending in 075. Can you state your name for the record?
I think that's Lydia.
Is that you, Lydia? 075?
Yeah, hold on. I got to think what my phone number is.
Yeah, it's her.
I think that is me.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see she's talking. So
If my hand is up, I'm going to take it down. Hold on.
I took it down for you.
okay.
Oh, now I just raised it again. Hold on.
There, I lowered it. Now forget it. Okay.
Now
Shall I
just
take-
raised it again.
Can I take roll call?
Yes, we
Yes, please.
Okay. Lydia Grant,
Here.
Lala Rowe? No. Ed Bubakanian
Here.
and Carol Hutchinson's here. Karen Purdue?
here.
Okay. You have quorum?
Thank you.
Okay, the next item would be approval of outstanding minutes. Let me stop share.
Carol, hold on one quick second. Mark or Cindy, are either of you at home on your computer, or are you at somewhere else?
Mark is at home.
Can I run over there real quick with Mark?
Yeah.
I don't know
I'll
if
do
you
that.
can do that or not.
Yes, I can. I'll be there in just 1 minute. Bye.
Okay, bye. I
Okay,
tried to invite her over earlier, but I guess she couldn't hear me.
So Karen, are you continuing with the meeting?
Yes, I'll go ahead actually, because once we got the roll call done, we can ask for general comments from the board, I believe.
I don't think we do that.
No,
No, I
Okay.
think we were on minutes. So
Yes.
Carol, I think
Hang on, I forgot to get those. I'll grab them real quick.
okay.
yeah, and I can't see the agenda, so
Okay. Okay, these are the minutes for the March 30 meeting. Does anyone have any comments or corrections, or do we have a motion to accept the minutes? That's what I'll ask.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, Ed, you made the motion?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, my dog, let me let her out. I don't know what her problem is. Out. Okay. Minutes. Okay, Ed and Karen. Okay,
Okay, so Karen, now you have public comments or?
Okay, go ahead and take public comments for the minutes of March. March 22 minutes. If we have any comments from the public, raise your hand. I don't see any.
I don't see any.
Any? Okay, so we can take it.
Any board comments?
No, this is Lydia and I'm here. I'm just under Mark Siegel on the
Okay.
screen.
Okay, so we're we have a motion. Karen made Ed made the motion and Ed. No, Ed made the motion, Karen seconded, and we had no public comments. We're waiting on board comments on the minutes.
See any hands? Carol, can you call for the vote?
Okay. Lydia
Yes.
and Lala still absent. Okay. Ed,
Yes.
okay, Karen,
Yes.
Carol is yes. Okay.
I think the next item was with regards to future meeting dates. And let me know when you've got the item going and I'd like to make a comment.
Okay. So it should be on your screen. I don't have anything for that other than committee meeting dates and times.
So this is Cindy, and typically the meeting dates for this committee are right after the Budget and Finance Committee. So I just wanted to clarify that that would be the case for the month of May, which would be May 25th. And then the next date would be June 22nd. Or you could change the June meeting to June 29th if you wanted, because that's still 2 weeks out from the July board meeting. So that's a question I have, so we can properly notice or calendar it.
Well, we usually do it 2 weeks before the meeting, so we could go that week later. I just would like to try to coordinate it so Ed's meeting and the executive committee meeting are the same night, so he doesn't have to take up 2 nights.
And Ed may have to have an additional meeting before then because of the fiscal year cutoff time. So then is it safe to say that May 25th will be the next meeting, which will coincide with the Budget and Finance Committee, but the June meeting would move to the 29th of June, which is that safe to say? Okay, don't all talk at once.
I don't have a calendar in front of me. I don't have anything here.
Bring up their
so-
calendars.
I mean, it would completely be up to Ed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine keeping the current schedule. That was the intent, was the next meeting, we'd review the budget packet for next fiscal year.
Yes, what date do you plan on having that meeting?
Whatever date is on the calendar today, I mean, why would it need to be different from
Yeah, then it's May 25th. so
25th?
that-
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess the question is the June meeting, or you want to push it a week further out to the 5th Wednesday or leave it at the 4th Wednesday?
For my meeting, I'm fine with the 22nd. I wouldn't want to push it too much further. I'll announce it in the board comment section, but I'll be out of the country most of July.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Cindy, you want to put the executive committee meeting on that same week so that we don't,
yes,
okay.
that's fine. Okay, that's all we need on that. And then let me know when you want to go to item C.
Okay, so just so I'm clear that we have we're still going to stick with May 25th and June 22nd for meeting dates.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay, and let's go to item C then.
Other.
This is Cindy, and I wanted to update the executive committee on the CPRA request. As far as I am concerned, it's done on the last one that there was, so that task is complete and everything's been sent to the parties that requested those documents. And thanks to the board for their response so that we could get that accomplished. Thank you.
I really want to commend Cindy for the hard work. That was a lot of work.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Cindy.
Okay, the next one, discussion possible action, community impact statements. So,
For the May 11th board meeting, I can see the screen now. I'm on Mark's computer.
okay, all right, let me
We
bring
just
those
need to
up.
Bring them up. And then there's one that's kind of an issue in that it was going to be a letter that we were going to write in response to something the department manager did. But now it is a council file, I guess. So I don't know how we should deal with it. We might want to just do a community impact statement, a CIS against it, instead of writing a letter. So I don't have the letter prepared because the switch happened and I wasn't sure what to do.
Lydia?
Yeah.
Can I call up the draft agenda so that we can just go through to make sure that we have all of them that you expect? Or is this document that's on the screen now?
So this is the document on the screen right now is the actual CIS responses to the items that we did in the SIGA committee.
Oh, okay.
And Carol went to all the trouble to write these up. I was tied up, so I absolutely appreciate. So, the first one, I don't know how they are listed on the agenda.
We
But
don't need to go through them. We just need to know what they are so they're on the agenda, right?
Yeah, so why don't you read them in order and we'll make sure that we have a council file for it.
Do you want me to bring them up or?
Well, you know which ones you wrote. How about this? How about you go ahead and we'll just read the agenda.
Okay, well, I did the council file 11-0002-S24, which is the firearm manufacturers and retailers non-compliance lawsuit, ghost gun regulations, AB 2571.
Okay, so the council file we wrote was from the SIGA committee was the STNC is against this motion. And then the next one is council file 220002. S41 home key program, homeless crisis, state coronavirus, state general. They're talking about increasing the budget and getting more of these hotel rooms. We put the STNC is against this. The city council mayor's resolution to oppose state legislation. Oh no, that's the wrong one.
Okay. So you're doing fine.
Hold on.
calling out-
No, this one was against unless amended.
Okay, so the STNC were against that additional funding unless it's amended. The people of California, especially Los Angeles, are struggling under skyrocketing inflation. And the problem is that there's no accountability. We're saying unless it's amended to include accountability for the money spent, that they should not give more money. Okay, and then council file 201575 regarding also, which is also regarding Council File 22-0002-S161. This is the Taxpayer Protection and Government Accountability Act. The mayor and the city council are opposing the state legislation to put in Taxpayer Protection and Government Accountability Act. So here's the council file statement against that opposition. And that is the only ones. So we're good.
So just to make sure, I have two others, a CIS regarding 20-0990.
I don't know what that is.
That's the Dunn Diversity, Equity and Inclusion Training.
Okay, so that's
Is that
okay,
a
that's the one
CIS?
we're talking about. So that was supposed to be a letter, but I think we need to put it in as a council file. What happened was, and this is just to explain what happened, the department sent a letter to the city council and they wanted a report back from her on what was going on. So she already did that report back. And so now we can't write a letter saying, hey, you know, we don't want you to consider this because they've already done the report back. So now we would have to switch over to the council file to submit a CIS, our opinion on what is happening. So basically what that particular item is it was a letter from Raquel Beltran to the city council, basically saying that she wants full control over all the trainings that neighborhood councils do, not an accountability to make sure they do them, but that she will get to decide what trainings the neighborhood councils do without input like we currently have when it's done through the Bonk Commission. And so we would take a position against her, the department manager having full control of all decision-making in regards to trainings without neighborhood council input.
Okay, all right.
So that council file needs to be added and we'll have to write up the CIS for it.
Okay, so what was the number on that again, Cindy?
It's 20-0990. Okay, does that take care of that agenda item?
Looks like, yes. You said you had two. That was one.
No, there's, you already got the 22-0002-S41, the home key program, right?
Yes.
And you already got 20-1575 regarding the taxpayer protection and government account. I believe you got it already.
Now,
No.
I have a question. And I want you guys to, that I'm not discussing the item, but I need to know if you want me to include something I received. So I'm asking a question of the executive committee. So in regards to the council file with the Project Home Key, we have discovered that the way Project Home Key is being done is they're actually giving the taxpayer paid for properties to the nonprofits to keep. So if the building is $11 million, they're giving it to the nonprofit. They're deeding it over to them. So my question to the executive committee is, do you think that we're already asking for accountability, but do you think that I should include one of those contracts so that the board has the ability to see why there needs to be accountability?
Well, this is Carol. I would say yes.
Okay. Okay, just so we have it for the board packet then.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, thank you guys. Okay, Carol, if you could put the main screen back up.
Yeah.
And we can whip through this.
So it looks like it's number 5 we're on next.
Okay, discussion, action, response to Dunn Communications. So then, yes, so item the 4/10/22 letter, I sent a copy to Carol and Cindy. So if you guys want to put it up, It's really a rough draft. But it was kind of trying to gather the gist of what was going on. I would say that if Ed wants to take a stab at it, we can have a couple people take a stab at it. This is in response to the letter from Vanessa. Basically, I hope you guys read the letter, but basically the letter is accusing us of all kinds of stuff. And this is in response to that letter. So it says, this letter is in response to your letter dated March 10th, 2022, in which you expressed concerns about allegations of exclusion and discrimination by the Sunland Tujunga Neighborhood Council. Except for the discrimination expressed by a board member who was censured for that action and also brought up for removal, we would like to state our opposition to your claims. We would like to point out that the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment did everything they could to stop those actions and to stop and support the discriminatory behavior and violations of the Code of Conduct and our bylaws. Further, the department has shown a complete bias against the Neighborhood Council and has tried to force us to change our bylaws and standing rules to accommodate the department's opinion instead of listening to what is actually happening. Let us first address the department's lack of due process and its failure to follow the plan for neighborhood councils. You state, and I need to, that's in reference to Vanessa. You state that many complaints have been filed against us. According to the plan for neighborhood councils, complaints against a certified neighborhood council of any nature shall be filed with Dunn on a form prescribed by Dunn, and a copy of the complaint shall be delivered by Dunn to the affected certified neighborhood council against which the complaint is made within 5 business days of receipt of the complaint. The rest of it's just the extra wording that goes with that section. But since our board did not receive any of the aforementioned complaints, it is obvious that the department is in violation of due process. I would also like to mention that over the half of the complaints that are mentioned were filed under a different neighborhood council board. Go ahead and scroll up, Carol.
Okay.
Do you realize how unprofessional it is on behalf of the department to make accusations against people who were not even on the board and try to punish them for it when they have no idea of what they're being accused of and no opportunity to defend themselves? In this letter, you try to tell us that we should change our bylaws and standing rules. Let us please review the plan for neighborhood councils. Item 4, plan for neighborhood councils. Certified neighborhood councils shall be as independent, self-governing, and self-directed as possible. The Department of Neighborhood Empowerment shall assist certified neighborhood council to pursue options, including but not limited to, and it has a list of things. Instead of the department being in a supportive role, your department has supported over a long period of time those attacking us and has ignored the neighborhood council when we have asked for help. The truth of this whole situation is we have a small group of people in our community who have been assaulting and attacking our board members to the point that many fear for our safety. The department has refused to speak to the LAPD sergeant who is concerned for the safety and welfare of our board members. Many complaints have been filed by the board members, which have been ignored by the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment and other city departments. The Department of Neighborhood Empowerment has harassed and discriminated against many of the board members based on race, religion, political opinion, and disability by ignoring that those things have been perpetuated against our board members. And instead of the department providing support, the department has supported those committing these atrocities, and the department further acted on multiple occasions to try to stop the board from being able to act against some of the abuse. Please, Carol, scroll up.
I'm sorry, what?
Scroll up, please.
Okay.
Thank you. We will no longer allow the department to continue to treat us in this manner. We have the right to not support people for our board and committees that will create an even more hostile environment than the one we are currently working under. Our refusal to vote in favor of the hostility is our right as neighborhood council board members. The department does not have the right to dictate to us how we will fill our board seats when we are following the bylaws. The department needs to remember that workers, in quotes, including volunteers, are protected under California state law, even if they are members of racial groups that have not traditionally been discriminated against, like Caucasian workers, unquote. In case the department is not aware, harassment becomes unlawful when the conduct is severe or pervasive enough to create a work environment that a reasonable person would consider intimidating, hostile, or abusive. We feel that the level is beyond that point. The state of California Fair Employment and Housing Act is where you will find all the rules and protections for volunteers and that are to be provided under California state law. We ask that the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment, its administration and staff, to cease this behavior against our board, as it is adding to the hostile environment and adding undue stress to many of our board members, including those that are disabled with issues that are exacerbated by relentless attacks against them. This board is not here to serve a political agenda. We are here to serve our community as the stakeholders in this community elected us to do. We also ask again for the ability to have security at our meetings when we go back to in-person. This has been requested multiple times and has been ignored. We have the right to do this work without the department adding to an already hostile environment. Sincerely, Sunland Tujunga Neighborhood Council. Okay, so I see a hand up. Do we have any comments from the community first? Carol, I can't see hands. Do we have?
No,
anybody?
I see Cheryl has her hand raised.
I do too, but okay, Cheryl, go ahead.
Hi, some of you know this and some of you don't, and I don't know if you want to include it in there, that not only are we, some of us are afraid for our safety, but because it got to a point where my children were targeted by these people, and I have successfully filed a police report, and it is a hate incident. That is the title of the police report. And the detective thought it best to actually put the address of the North Valley City Hall address is listed on the hate incident. So I don't know if you wanted to incorporate that somehow, but I don't want to fan the flames of hate even more. But if you need any kind of documentation to back it up, that LAPD is aware of it and they did classify it as a hate incident.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I would suggest at this time that remain with you. If we have to take further action or we'll file complaints with whoever we need to file complaints with, you can use it then. I'd rather it not become public, and it will become public if it becomes part of this letter.
Yeah, that's
So for
true. But
safety
in terms
reasons-
of Vanessa or whoever, I mean,
Yeah.
it might be wise for them to know that. But I see what you're saying, because if it has to go before general
If
board
anybody has
meeting,
access to read this letter, it could become dangerous. So at
Right.
this point, I would suggest keeping it confidential.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, are there any, Ed, go ahead, please.
Sorry, I haven't received a copy of it yet. I know I was going to send you my address to send it to, but who's Vanessa Serrano? Is she part of Dunn, or is she
So
just?
so Vanessa Serrano was our representative to Dunn.
Yeah, that's what I
And
thought.
then because they've had so many people leave the department, she got promoted up to a supervisor position, and now Raul has been given her spot. So now he's the one that's our representative. But there's more going on than you see here. There's other things. We have a lot of documentation, but I wanted to try to stop the behavior because we just turned in our bylaws, and instead of the department following the process and sending us in writing, these are our concerns, or this needs to be changed, or not all the board members are listed, whatever their issues were with our bylaws, they then wanted to meet with us. And so both Sandy and I set up a meeting to meet with them. And then neither Vanessa or Raul showed. Then they tried to tell us we were at the wrong place, even though Sandy and I were both there. Then I said, you need to put in writing what your issues are. And one of the things that they brought up was one of the things that's harassing us. And that really pissed me off because it was something we removed from our bylaws. And instead of saying, oh, we see you removed this, they were like, oh, well, how are the stakeholders going to be able to find this? Well, they're not going to because we removed it. But my point is, they're continuing what I feel is harassment, and I'm sick of it. And so Sandy and I are supposed to meet with them again next week because now, again, they want to meet with us, over Zoom instead of just doing it by, just submitting the paperwork like we're supposed to. I do want to point out that the bylaws, that he was actually looking at the wrong set of bylaws. He was looking at our old bylaws with the things we had crossed out. So he was completely confused, and it was like, oh my God. I hope we don't end up with the wrong set of bylaws, but we submitted to them the new bylaws. They had everything correct. but they didn't look at those. They're instead going after us for the things they don't like in the old bylaws that we've changed. So there's more going on than just what's addressed in this letter. This was just to address the responses to Vanessa's letter.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I thought I recognized the name. I just couldn't remember where I saw it from.
So like I said, Ed, you're welcome to look at this letter. I'm sure there's a million typos on it. I am not a writer, but I was just trying to get the thoughts on paper so we would have it for this meeting. But I'm happy to hand it over to you and call you if you want to play with it. You're more than welcome to.
Yeah, send it over. I mean, the way you read it, it seems fine to me, but I'll take a look at it.
Okay, we'll do.
Okay, so, all right.
And just Ed, just so you know, because you may not know this, at least 5 or 6 of us have filed complaints. We filed complaints with personnel. We filed complaints with the city attorney. We have gone to the department and requested help multiple times. This is all documented. We have stacks of documentation.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
So, this is Cindy. Which letter does this, because there's 2 letters
This is
on the
the
agenda.
410, this is the 410 letter, and the other
Okay.
one we'll remove from the agenda because we're switching it over to a CIS.
Gotcha. Okay, thank
Got
you.
Okay, next item.
Have to
Okay.
vote on this to place it on the agenda from the executive committee. So if you could do
You
that.
don't already have it on the agenda? Wouldn't we just approve it with the agenda?
Agenda item is on here because this is a recommendation from the executive committee. Is that right?
So I'm sorry, raising my hand. Were we supposed to vote discussion possible action for the, even the CISs? Or,
No, that's what I'm saying. All of it's on the agenda. We will do one vote to approve everything that's on the agenda.
okay,
We need to do individual votes. This item, this letter was already on last month's agenda. I just couldn't get it wordsmithed right, so we couldn't vote on it. So it is listed on the new agenda, correct? The one we're, right, Cindy?
I'll double check it.
Okay. So then, discussion motion, in-person meeting updates. We don't have any further information. And it's really funny because they keep saying Sunland Tujunga Neighbor Council has not responded to them, but that is in fact not true. And I have the email to prove that I let Raul know that we are using North Valley City Hall as our location to hold our meetings, and the department needs to work that out when we go back to in-person or hybrid. So yes, we have responded. They didn't put us on the list and they keep kind of calling us out that we haven't done it, but I'm letting you guys know, yes, we did. And so the next item is filling vacant board seats. We do have 2 seats available. Both are group representative seats. We will announce it at the board meeting. Discussion, possible action, approve 11/22 board meeting agenda. So Carol, could you please put that one up?
okay.
And slide down. This is for Wednesday, May 11th. So the typical call to order and welcome, celebrating STNC's 19th year as a certified neighbor council. Thank you to the volunteers for the Verdugo Hills Cemetery Centennial Restoration. The neighbor council did give a certificate to Craig Durst. There's been a lot of different things going on. We've taken pictures. So if I can get with Cheryl, we can try to maybe put them up before the meeting this time. So the
So there
cemetery-
won't be any time during the meeting because people usually wait till 7 p.m. to log in.
we'll check, we'll see. We'll see
Okay.
how it's going, but get it ready and maybe we'll start the meeting and go ahead and do that first.
Okay, I think I have about 20 to 30 pictures. Okay, thank you.
Okay, and then, thank you. I have some from the Korean event and I have some from something else I went to. Anyway, coffee with the STNC, I held on 4:30, and what that means, it's an update for the coffee and tea with STNC that's supposed to be on Saturday. Karen, did you, was there any last minute things you needed to plug about that? Any board members who are available can go and talk to community members? Anything else?
No, it's just an open invitation and as it works out, they're doing a tree mulching watering event on the same day. So things are on Facebook and Claire and I will be manning it, but, and a couple of other, members have said they will be stopping in, so I think we're good.
Okay, I was gonna try to stop in. That may not be possible. The 4th of July parade updates, save the date for National Night Out. Item 2, roll call, announcements, board seats, the empty seats, Pledge of Allegiance. 4 is the comments from a public official. 6 is report from the Land Use Committee. And 2 Land Use Committee announcements and also the Reverie Road project. 7 is the committee and liaison reports from the different committees. 9 is consent calendar items, which is motion to the CIS on the ones we've already mentioned. So the CISs are on here. Cindy, did we get that council file for filing Raquel's issue on here?
Yes, it's D.
Item D, mandatory diverse equity inclusion training for all members. See, that is what it's called, but that's not what our issue is. We've never said we have a problem with doing an anti-bias or training. So I need to read it to make sure we're not saying something we shouldn't. And I'm sorry, Ed, go ahead. Your hand is up.
Oh, you're getting to it. I had some comments around the budget and finance items that didn't get approved today.
Okay. So I think we need to double check before we actually take a position. I'll have to read it to make sure that we're not taking a position against having racial equity training, because that's not our intent at all. It has to do with all the trainings that Raquel is trying to mandate without neighborhood council input. E's discussion. Oh, Ed, you want to do the funding stuff? Go ahead.
Yeah, can you adjust E to be March and April 22 MERs? We didn't do March last time. And then item number F is amended to $1,000 instead of 5,000.
I'm stop for a second, Ed. I'm going to ask a question. Cindy, can we break those up into 2 separate motions? The reason why, if anybody wants to not pass one of them, if they're in the same item, then we would.
Which one are you talking about? The MER?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
what was the one that gets adjusted by the amount, Ed?
H.
H. It
H
changes
goes to 1,000.
Okay.
Yeah, and 10 was not discussed, so you can pull that one.
Wait
I'm
a minute.
sorry.
I have a question.
Yeah,
So is it that we don't have enough money for outreach items that it got adjusted?
no, we have more than enough money. It's that we don't think they need it. They've got money left over from already approved items. And we think they're gonna spend maybe another $1,000.
Those are for those items.
No, that's not that was not my understanding. The budget committee is supposed to see if the funds are available, but it's up to the board to vote on the amount.
Okay. I
So,
mean.
I'd like to leave it. So what I'd like to do is.
Lydia,
Yes,
I can chime in here.
Okay.
We do, apparently, I thought we had 200, but it's apparently 600. I'll double check that. And then if we get that other $1,000, that'll hold us through to National Night Out. But I'll order things before the end of this fiscal year. I think there was some discussion about, I'm not sure if it was approved, but we could probably do it ourselves as if there's monies left over, because we can roll that $10,000 over, we can come, we can visit it real fast and use it.
so
Yeah.
I'm confused because one of the
Lydia,
reasons.
the
yeah.
other thing is that the committee, the budget committee, wanted the outreach committee to go back and have more detail on what these expenditures are going to be.
Right.
Yeah, 'cause there's
And
some things on here like bus benching, advertising. Is that even plausible?
Sure.
Some of the other items as well.
Yes, it is possible.
Yeah, oh, I understand that. The whole point was to try, so Ed, how much money do we currently have with the spending we have set up? Will we have at the end of the fiscal year that we need to spend down to get to that 10,000 number?
We've got 15,000, so $5,000.
So that's, so when we discussed that, because I'd asked that number before, Karen was trying to buy up the things we would need through the end of the year with National Night Out, with the Halloween handouts, with the, just so we would have everything in advance. And we were trying to do it so we wouldn't end up getting any of the money swept. So now you guys cut it back. That's okay. I mean, we were just trying to get it done sooner rather than later. So what you're saying is, and I know Karen has picked out the stuff. So you want the actual like invoices of what everything's gonna be.
Right. What's it ultimately gonna cost? Like, basically, are we able to spend all the dollars that are already approved plus this incremental amount?
Well,
That's basically the ask.
It's the same amount of money, because if you're saying there's 5,000 left and 2,000, if it was earmarked that we haven't spent, it's still 5,000. Right? So it
Say
doesn't
that
really,
again.
so the money you're saying that we have, the money that you say we have available, the $5,000,
Mhm.
is that over and above the money that's already set aside for Karen? Or that's what's left?
Right. So that's what we're saying is we've already got funding approved for outreach for various items that hasn't been spent yet. And now we're asking for additional dollars.
Okay, so my question to you is, are those additional, okay, so we have 5,000 left, and say outreach has $1,000 left that we haven't spent yet.
Mhm.
Are you saying that that $1,000 comes out of the 5,000, or are you saying there's 5,000 besides the 1,000 that outreach already has set aside?
So outreach has spent $5,259 of their total allotment of 10,000. They've got 4,200 left to spend before we even have to ask for more money.
Is that correct, Ed?
So there's a budget placeholder of 2684, so you can pull that out. But for all the things that are approved, what I've got is 1565 that hasn't been spent yet. That's already been approved.
Like 15,065 cents? What?
No, $1,500. $1,565.76.
Okay, can I say something?
These.
Okay, thanks so much. All right, so you're saying that in the kitty, in cash, we have $15,000 in the bank, right?
Correct.
And none of that is pre-assigned to something.
Correct.
Okay, and you're saying that we can, Dunn has said we can roll over up to $10,000 at the end of the year, correct?
That's what came out this morning from or this afternoon from the meeting. Yes.
Okay, now Dunn is, how do I put this? They like to change their mind on the fly, as you probably noticed from their
Sure.
statement today. And it's best if we do go ahead and buy what we can while we can. And they usually have a cutoff in the middle of June because the fiscal year ends July 1st, well, June 31st.
Right.
So they will freeze everything usually 2 weeks before the end of the month.
It's the end of it's end of May. It's like May 26th that we got.
Okay, so they're even getting more aggressive on their freezing, which is horrible. So we should try spending as much as we can now for what we'll need this year and into next year. And if we're ahead of the game, having, extra outreach items and things in next year, then we can take the money, the overage, what we would use for outreach, and spend it on other things. But if we might as well go ahead and bank it now and spend the whole 5,000 so that we can do that. And we can spend even up to, 10,000.
Yeah. And I don't disagree, Mark. I guess the thinking there was, is there an ability to spend that amount of money?
Well, I think
Well,
that
one
we
of the-
should at least try.
One of the things that we had on here, and I think it is mistaken. It says bus bench advertising, but it was actually supposed to be a billboard. And that billboards are like $2,000 to $3,000.
Billboards require a 6-month minimum commitment too. So
Well, we'd
that's
have
gonna
to
be
look into it,
expensive.
yeah. The other thing we were talking about doing was setting up a movies in the park. So what Karen was trying to do was just pool together all the things they wanted to do, because setting up a movies in the park is like $3,000. So the ability to spend the money is there. We were just trying to get it spent before we lose it.
Right, and can I jump in? I did jump into budget committee as well, but one of the reasons that the spending has been so low is because I wasn't spending every last cent, because everything was closed. We couldn't go out, we couldn't do this, but now it's opening back up and my reserves are going down really fast. And I can spend $5,000 in a month, just FYI, okay?
Yeah,
But-
I think, yeah, go ahead. I think that Karen, also to remind Karen, one of the things, we don't just have National Night Out coming out in a month or so we need to get this stuff ordered. But we also have the 4th of July parade. We were going to get stuff to hand out. So, you know, I know we have some pre-approved money, but I
Yeah.
don't want any of this money to get swept. If we do not spend it, it will
Right.
be gone.
Right,
Agreed.
and
Ed-
then Ed, maybe you can show, because there are also projected expenditures that, you know, like where there's $15,000, we have projected as well. So we don't really have 15,000, correct?
15,000 is after everything we knew was gonna happen.
It is.
Yeah, so I mean, it would basically be, so take 15,000 and let's just say this was 5, you got 3, you're gonna drop that by about 9 grand. So you're gonna spend the bulk, or we're gonna commit to spending the bulk of the 15 if we put this back to 5,000. I mean, so here's the thing, and I guess I need a little bit of direction. So in the budget and finance meeting, this was cut to 1,000. And I think it's cut to 1,000, not because we don't want to spend, because we didn't feel like it was going to be feasible to spend. If we agree here to put it back to 5,000, can we do that as an executive committee?
Yes,
We
we can.
We can.
And then at the
Then-
meeting, if Karen doesn't, like Karen needs to get us what she wants to do with it. And I gotta tell you, we won't put this agenda out right away, because we're gonna need Karen to itemize on this agenda the exact items. There's $250 for this particular kitchen for order of kitchen magnets. We're gonna have to create those, and each of those is gonna need to have a separate motion. So we're gonna have to, so we can approve this agenda. If we approve this agenda, we would have to say, with the addition of the individual outreach items that will need to be itemized. And then the board would have them.
All right, that'll take obviously a little more time, but that's not what we did last time. So I was just going on that assumption. And okay,
So yeah, that would be a prudent thing to do. And then that way it's very transparent. and Everybody knows exactly where the money's going and how they feel about it. I personally, what I'd like to do is send out a mailer to everybody, a little newsletter, telling everybody what the neighborhood council has done and what they look forward to doing and how they've helped the community in the past and look forward to helping in the future and things they've bought for the community and so forth. But I don't know how much that would cost. And we did it once when I was president, and it worked out really well. Of course, you get a lot of people that say, the STNC, what's that? I've never heard of that before. And so that's another reason that I always like to do a newsletter. But maybe we should look into pricing it and see what it would cost.
This is Cindy. Can I chime in here?
Yeah, go ahead, Cindy.
Okay, so where this is at is this is in the consent items list. And the committee made a recommendation for $1,000. I think Ed, he can clarify this, but I think the bus bench advertising was pulled, but I don't know if it was clearly pulled. But I I'm concerned about the committee. I know it was a draft agenda at $5,000. The Budget and Finance Committee really wanted to see the detail that Mark was just talking about, that lists, okay, so we're going to spend $60 on kitchen magnets, and we're going to spend $100 on an STNC brochure, and we're going to spend $300 on banners. The STNC will need banners if we have to go to live meetings, but is that going to happen in time for, June 30th? I don't think so. Coloring books might be $900. Keychain flashlight, I think that's what they wanted. And that's what you're also now saying that you want in time for the board meeting. So I guess my
We're not saying. board meeting.
concern is the Budget and Finance Committee has dropped it to the 1,000 because they think it's possible to spend on these certain items that need replenishing, no problem. And that another meeting will be held should more items come about even before the end of the fiscal year deadlines. That's the takeaway I got from today's Budget and Finance meeting.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely an ask, was to understand more of the detail. But again, it goes back to what did we actually think could be spent? If this board feels like we go with 5,000, fine. But if we don't spend 5,000, we just don't spend 5,000. But I feel like, that it kind of goes over the head of the Budget and Finance Committee. So I guess, where we want to land.
Then we'll be okay,
Yeah, the big issue is just make sure we only have 10,000 left
or less.
Yeah.
or less. Yeah, because we'll have elections coming up and things like that. So if you guys aren't gonna vote on anything else that this money goes towards, there's no reason we can't approve it up to 5,000. Figure out exactly what we're gonna do with it, and then whatever's left can be considered for the next round, your special meeting. But we were trying to get this done so that we wouldn't go into that, have to have special meetings and try to get the money spent
Mhm.
sooner rather than later. So we're not trying to do it at the last minute, because I can't tell you how many years I have seen things
Lose
get
money.
screwed up and we end up sweeping money because this didn't go through or that didn't go through. So we were actually trying to get ahead of the game. But I understand the need to itemize. I thought that that's what Karen was working on. So,
Mhm. Okay.
okay.
So if you want to change it to 5,000, but Karen sent us an itemized list, I think that's fine.
That's fine. So I would make a motion to do that, or so that we would approve the, so when we make the motion to approve the agenda, we'll just add that in.
Yeah.
And yeah, Cindy, go ahead and put it in, change
Yeah.
it to 5,000. And if something comes up like Ed, if you say, oh gosh, you know what, we just got hit with this, we didn't know about, then we don't have to spend the money on the outreach.
All right.
We just want to
Oh.
make sure we don't lose it, because what happens is the next day that money just disappears out of our account and we no longer have it.
Into the general fund.
And it goes back to the general fund.
Right.
And
So
then we all
Ed
get
has more-
accused of not doing our job because we didn't spend our money.
Ed has more to discuss.
Go
Yes.
ahead.
So the 3,000 for National Night Out's good. The 120 for water and snacks didn't make it. We didn't get a chance to discuss that, so we'll push that to the next one. Anyways, the Pinewood murals next is not going to happen before next meeting, so we'll push that one. The 100 for pet waste was voted down. They want to reintroduce it next meeting for $300. So that those two items come off. And we didn't discuss item M as well, so we could take that one off as well. We basically ran short on time, so there's 2 or 3 items that didn't even make it.
So K, L, and M you're removing those.
K is the 120. Yes, that's off. L was voted down. That's off. And the next one, yeah, off, not discussed.
Okay. Oh,
But
Ed,
you'll
can
do
I-
it at the next meeting. So my concern is, Ed, is the next meeting going to be before the deadline and ability to spend?
So, yeah, so the May 25th will be. The pet waste bags, we don't need right away anyways. We're okay even if that falls into the next fiscal year. I think the 120 for Pinewood mural, unless we're gonna purchase, we actually have, Outreach has dollars set aside for water and snacks, the general fund. If we need it right away, we probably could use that, but again, it's $120. So I don't see it being an issue.
Okay. Like I said, we just want to make sure it all gets spent.
Right. No, I'm all on board with, you know, spending the money smartly and the right way.
Ed,
Mm-hmm.
can I ask you, whatever happened to the $850 we had to pay for the park last year?
Never got that back.
So are we just kissing that goodbye, or?
We can reach out to them. This is the Park and Rec permit, $850. Yeah, we can reach out to them again and see, you know, what's happening there if we're able to get that back. That would be $850 more that we would have to spend this year.
Right.
Seems like a worthwhile idea.
Yeah, they may not want to give it back to us, but then we can say, fine, then apply it towards National Night Out. But
Yeah.
if we don't identify it in this fiscal year, then they're going to just pretend it never happened and it'll disappear.
I
Yeah.
don't think we need it for this year. I mean, last year, it seems to me the thing with the park is that we were told, oh no, you have to fill out a permit for the park, but I don't think we do.
We do. It's because the park.
No, we have to get permission from the city park, but I don't think we pay that.
The
that was-
council member decided not to waive the fees. That's why we had to pay it.
Oh, I have a suggestion. Let's add another item to old business. As approve a letter regarding whatever the amount is,
Okay, yeah,
Done.
thank you.
to ask for their assistance in getting that refund.
Okay. Sounds like a plan, and we should CC it to the city clerk. And it was actually, I had spoken a couple times on the phone with our last person who left, so yeah, it should go to Dunn and the city clerk's office for them to work out getting our money back for us. Thank you. Okay, Ed, your hand's up. Anything else?
No. Thanks.
Cindy, your hand's up. Anything else? Carol, your hand's up. Anything else?
I know, it just takes me a minute to find the dang paper.
Okay, so we have National Night Out. We have the Start Committee. Start Committee recommendation, old business, which we just added. The letter from April 10th and now the one on the park fees. New business, none.
Oh, yes,
Chris-
it is me. Because I'm not gonna be available next month.
Okay,
So,
okay, so new business, Carol needs somebody to take the minutes because I know we hired somebody, but then they just stopped showing up. So we can ask the company to send us somebody else, or unless somebody volunteers to do it.
I can send you the template that I've been using. What I have done, because I'm also on the board and I need to participate, is I do it the bonk style. That's what I call it. It's not this word for word, what people are saying. Basically, all the bonk does is who made the motion, take the vote, board comment, who just names. They only do the names. They don't write down. I mean, if you want to do that, you're welcome to, but I can send you a template that you can just, kind of cut and paste and change the votes as needed. So also, there's just the other little things. I don't know if Cindy is gonna, if all the agendas being posted. So I guess, it's forward my emails for agendas to be posted, then Cindy will take care of it. I just, Cindy just does so much. I hate asking her to do more, but just to see about that, plus the Zoom meetings. I know Cindy's really good and I try to keep up, but I'm just wondering about perhaps Ed and Karen starting their own Zoom meetings, giving them access to start their own Zoom meetings. And that's a question that I'd like to throw out there.
Yeah, I'm fine with it if I have access. So I can obviously start my own meetings.
Okay,
What about you, Karen? You're muted.
Yeah, I'm good running it if someone else is taking my notes. I can't do both at the same time. I tried. Don't work.
Doesn't work.
There's two things. Either you could record the meeting, which they should be recorded anyway, and do it off the recording, or ask one of your committee members to do the minutes that night.
Okay. They've
And
been
sit-
good at that, so.
Yeah, that's how you should do it. I think for the board meetings, Lydia, I think you should reach out to the minute takers since we have that approved and get them back on deck just in
Okay.
case. And I don't want to make a commitment, but I'll help, where I can. So there was something else I wanted to talk about. It wasn't it, but I'll come
And I'll
back.
try to help where I can. So like if we have them posted, Cindy, when they send them to you to post to the agenda and send it ENS, if you print it, I'll try to come by the shop and pick them up. So we really need the board members who have committees to try to do their agendas at least an extra day in advance. So we have time to get them up.
It's really important committees get their stuff in and all the details in it. It really helps out to make it smooth. But there was something else I wanted to bring to your attention that you may or may not already know. But Bill Skiles will be moving, and he has been a longstanding member of stakeholder and member on various committees with the neighborhood council. And I would really like to see that we recognize him. He's I think Ed, he said effective June 1st. Is that right?
Yeah, he initially said July, but it looks like he's gonna need to take pretty much at this point. So he's pretty much, gonna be not available going forward.
I'd really like to get some certificates from not only the mayor and ourselves, but our council member as well, because this is, he's not going to want any of this, but he's very giving, and I think he deserves the recognition, and that's going to take a little time. So I don't know that it can be done by the May meeting, but it's surely I hope that we could do it for June and that he would be there, but we'll have to see. So I wanted to let you know.
I would say go ahead and make one from the neighborhood council, and I'll reach out to Portantino's office.
Okay.
And maybe I can ask Sandy to reach out to Monica Rodriguez's office.
And then you've got Adam Schiff and, all around. Anyway, it's a well-deserved for him, and he's going to miss us.
We will miss
Yeah.
him.
We will. We will.
Maybe
there
not.
any-
Maybe he's looking forward to the escape. Who knows? I
Who
know he
knows?
loves it here. He was raised here, so he's very, he knows our community well. So this is a huge decision for him.
Definitely. So then moving on to presentation training, then general public comment, then final announcements and board comments, and then meeting adjourned. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of the itemized items for the budget and safety part of the, or budget and finance part of the agenda from outreach?
Yeah, I'll
I'll
move.
Okay.
Thank you, Ed. Second. Carol.
Carol, yeah.
Okay, okay, Carol, go, you can call, are there any community members that have any comments? If so, please raise your hand. I do not see any hands raised. Okay, any board member comments on this? Anything we need to change or anything we need to move around somewhere on the agenda? Okay, not seeing any. Carol, go ahead and call for the vote.
Okay. Lydia Grant,
Yes,
Lala Rowe. Okay.
he's not here.
Ed. Okay, yeah, Ed,
Yes.
okay. Karen
Yes.
and Carol. There you go. Unanimous. Well, apps.
Okay, and then going back to the agenda. Hold on, let's
Oh,
get
the
Carol a chance to
regular-
switch it back. Yeah, tonight's agenda. Okay, we approved the agenda. Item 9 is final announcements and board comments. I don't have any that I can think of. Ed, go ahead.
Just that I'll be unavailable the month of July. So I won't be able
Okay.
to make the meetings.
Okay, thank you.
Good for
Thank you for
you.
letting us know. Take us all with you.
If y'all want to pay for like 1/20th, come on down. It's a
Where
freaking
are we
expensive
going?
vacation.
Where?
Sabbatical from work, so I got to take 4 weeks off for going to Europe.
Oh, how fun. Well, I hope you have a wonderful time.
Put me in your luggage.
Okay, and then any other board comments or announcements? If not, then item 10, meeting adjourned, and the meeting is adjourned at 8:18 p.m.
And turn off the recording.
And thank you.
Good night, guys.
I appreciate all you
night.
guys.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.